Southeast Ohio football. Many don't give it the time of day. Written off, under-touted, and flat-out underappreciated. This area of Ohio has seen its fair share of sloppy football.
Fumbles the ball back to Federal Hawking.
At one time, Athens High School was no exception, riddled with losses up and down the 90s, losing season after losing season. Fast forward to the early 21st century, and Southeast Ohio would be run by the greatest high school football dynasty in the area. A dominant, prolific, high-flying, and star-studded football team. Those same Athens Bulldogs. With head coach Ryan Adams at the helm, the Bulldogs would see more success than they ever had and likely ever will. Adams knew he had a special group from day one back in 2012. 29 wins, 1 loss over a 3-year span. A superstar quarterback with pro-level aspirations, complemented with deadly weapons in an offense that ran like a juggernaut, and a defense that had Division I college football potential on the corners and on the line. Athens football ran Southeast Ohio. Their legacy began in 2012. Before 2012, the Athens Bulldogs had only made 2 playoff appearances in 1990 and 2011, but lost in the first round of both seasons. 2012 looked to be a promising season from the start, and that started with quarterback Joe Burrow. Burrow earned the role of the starting quarterback his sophomore year and significantly impacted the team's success with 13 rushing touchdowns, 47 passing touchdowns, and a total of 4,075 yards in 13 games for the 2012 season. One standout game for Burrow was in Week 3 against Warren, when he had 7 passing touchdowns to lead his team to a 66-14 win. But Burrow was not alone. The core of the 2012 team had been playing Athens football together since 3rd grade. A bond like that? Unmatchable. They only lost 1 game in the regular season, a non-conference game against Gallia Academy. It would be the only regular season loss suffered by Joe Burrow over the next 3 years. But the best was yet to come, the playoffs. The Bulldogs clinched the 3rd seed in Division III Region 11 that gave them the home field advantage against 6th seed Circleville. Burrow did what he does best and racked up the points.
That's no big deal for Joey Burrow, who takes it in for his 4th rushing TD.
And he racked up the yards.
Trey Williams will make a big gain upfield, giving Burrow another chance to take the ball into the end zone. That's 10 of his 89 rushing yards.
Athens won their first playoff game in school history, 63-28. They moved on to play the Shawnee Braves. Shawnee had just played in the state championship the year prior and were the heavy favorites over the Athens Bulldogs. This game had high stakes, and the Bulldogs, as the underdogs, had some tricks up their sleeves for Shawnee.
And Athens, with a little trickeration at the end of the half, the hook and ladder.
It was a nail-biting game with a score of 22-21 at half. It came down to the power duo of Trey Williams and Burrow, who scored the last touchdown of the night. They gave Athens the upset, 36-35. Unfortunately, Athens' playoff run came to an end when they lost against number 1 seed Thurgood Marshall in the regional finals.
So, Joe, you had 3,002 passing yards this season, broke the Athens single-season record. What was that like?
It was a great feeling. My teammates have been great this year. My wide receivers made a bunch of catches. My linemen give me time, and I just wanted to go out and make some school history.
Now, as far as varsity play goes, last year you saw a little bit of time as defensive back, and now this season, 45 touchdown passes later, you are the commander of that Athens offense. What was that transition like at a varsity level?
Well, during the summer, I was anticipating being wide receiver and defensive back, and then Michael Germano moved to California, and I just tried to step in, do the best I could at quarterback.
So what was that like to adjust so quickly?
Well, we were learning a new offense, and it wasn't that hard. Coach White did a great job of preparing our offense and our entire team for this year.
Now, your dad coaches at OU, and you've had a lot of D1 athletes in your family. What's that like being raised in a football family like that?
Well, they all give me great confidence and to go D1. That's what I'd like to do. And my brothers, they both went D1. They give me great advice. And my dad, we watch film a lot, and he gives me tips on how to read the defense, and it's a great confidence booster.
Following the 2012 season, the Bulldogs on offense lost their top 2 leading receivers to graduation in Tyler McIntosh and Skylar Schwartzel. And on defense, the Bulldogs lost their top 8 leading tacklers in Tanner Wood, Skylar Schwartzel, Dan Evans, Alex Tritipo, Caleb Love, Dakota Thompson, Jerry Pierce, and Jed DeBrune. Despite that, the 2013 Athens Bulldog football team went a perfect 10-0, outscoring their opponents 707 to 284. The Bulldogs were led again by Burrow, who threw for 3,732 yards with a completion percentage of 71%, while throwing 47 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions, while averaging 287 passing yards per game. The Bulldogs also had a great rushing attack, led by junior running back Trey Williams, who ran for 1,716 yards and 31 touchdowns, while averaging 10.2 yards per carry. The defense was led by the Stalder cousins, Troy and Freddie Stalders, who led the team in tackles with 118 and 103, respectively. The team was a versatile team on offense. As week 1, it was all about the running game, with Williams, who ran for 185 yards, 5 touchdowns on 18 carries. Then in week 6, Joe Burrow threw for 8 passing touchdowns and 492 yards in a 55-46 victory against Fairland. Heath Wiseman caught 6 of the touchdowns in the game. In the playoffs, when Athens needed him most, Joey Burrow stepped up, leading the team in passing and rushing yards in the regional semifinal, while accounting for all 6 of Athens' touchdowns, 4 passing and 2 rushing. Athens won 55-52 in overtime against Tri-Vile. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs fell again in the regional final, losing to Marion Franklin. That team's success contributed to many individual accolades. Linebacker Alex Goldsberry, offensive lineman Coulter Thompson, and wide receiver Heath Wiseman were all state special mention. Running back Trey Williams and wide receiver Ryan Lerman were all state second team. Defensive back Fred Stalder and quarterback Joe Burrow were all state first team. And Burrow was named Gatorade Ohio Football Player of the Year. The Bulldogs and Burrow would have to wait another year to see if they could pull out a win in the regional finals.
Williams, Athens High School, running back, cornerback, kick returner. I know that my speed and my quickness is probably my best asset, but when it's 4th and 1 or whatever and we need to get 1 yard, I realize that I need to just lower my shoulder and try to get some. I just have confidence in my coaches. They put me in good positions. The offensive line is working with me. They've been working all year. I mean, they're as happy as I am when I score. And so when I get the ball, I trust them. I trust that Joey's going to make the right read. I get the ball, and I'm just trying to make a play every single time. Everybody rallies around us. And it's great to look up and see all the people rooting for us. They want us to win. They want to see us do well. And I mean, it's just that much better to come out and be like, oh, we have all these people behind us. Let's go out and win this game. It'd be a huge honor. I mean, all the work. We've been working hard. Really, it's a team goal because, everybody, the offensive line, coaches, they've all helped me get to the season I've had. So, it's and the work I've put into. So it'd be just a great honor to be the Great Ongoing Player of the Year.
Expectations were sky high coming into the 2014 season.
Here, guys.
L-E-T-S-G-O, let's go.
We got Burrow behind center, baby.
Go Bulldogs!
Having lost only 6 seniors from the previous year and returning the core of their unit, this squad was looking to be as electric as ever.
Athens on the 20-yard line. Burrow again, rolling right, launching the ball to number 16, Ryan Lerman, for an 80-yard touchdown reception. 12-0 Athens, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns.
And electric was an understatement. The Bulldogs absolutely throttled opponents, never scoring less than 34 points in a single game. In the final game of the regular season, the Bulldogs took on Nelsonville York, the battle for the Doc Kroner Trophy, a game that would also decide the conference champion. Athens dominated from the start, winning handedly 48-22 and finishing the regular season undefeated yet again. The Bulldogs found themselves in the postseason, a familiar spot at this point, and handled business there as well. In 4 postseason games, they beat powerhouses Granville, Tri-Valley, DeSales, and Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, all while averaging 48 points in the process. This outstanding season led them to the Horseshoe in Columbus, with a chance at a state championship. Athens had protected a perfect 14-0 record and had the community of Athens right behind them. A cold 35-degree evening in Columbus, an energetic crowd of over 10,000, and an opponent that was battle-tested and hungry. The 12-2 Toledo Central Catholic Fighting Irish. It was everything you wanted a state championship game to be. A game for all the marbles. Neither team trailed by more than one score, but the seesaw battle saved its drama for the final few minutes. Burrow racked up 446 yards, completing 26 of his 45 passes with 6 touchdowns. Heading to the fourth quarter, Athens trailed by 4. It would be a battle to the very end, with running back Trey Williams running it in from 2 yards out to put the Bulldogs on the high side, 52-49, with just under 3 minutes remaining. But the Fighting Irish had a tough offense, and with their season on the line, they would put together a 12-play, 71-yard drive, eventually scoring on an 8-yard run to seal the state championship in heartbreaking fashion for the Athens Bulldogs. And despite that heartbreaking loss in the championship game, the Joey Burrow-led Athens Bulldogs are written into Southeast Ohio football legend. They were record breakers, dream chasers, and winners filled with Division I talent. Over 3 seasons, the Bulldogs compiled a 37-4 record. The 3 offenses all finished in the top 15 in Ohio high school football history. In 2014, the Bulldogs scored 861 points, more than any team that's ever played in Ohio history. What makes these numbers more frightening is that the Bulldogs rarely had starters on the field for more than a half. They bludgeoned opponents and broke records along the way. Joe Burrow posted over 11,000 passing yards in just 3 seasons as the starting quarterback, putting him 4th in Ohio history. Burrow is the only passer within the top 10 to only start for 3 seasons. Burrow is now the starting quarterback at LSU. Ryan Lerman, now a tight end for the Ohio Bobcats, along with his twin brother Adam, finished with over 3,000 career receiving yards, good for 13th in Ohio history. Trey Williams had nearly 100 rushing touchdowns and now plays defensive back at Northwestern in the Big Ten. The records and numbers only capture a portion of the legend, and people that watch these teams don't remember the records. The team was more than numbers. Whenever the Stars from 2014 return home or attend an Athens game, they are usually greeted with a standing ovation. Joe Burrow's legend is so large that he flipped the coin in Athens' Week 10 game. Joining him was State Representative Jay Edwards, an alumni of Athens' arch rival, and Edwards was wearing a Joe Burrow jersey. Multiple kids could be seen around Athens wearing Joey Burrow costumes on Halloween, and a cat in Athens still has the name of Joey Burrow. He's a living legend, and it grows with each pass he throws on national television for the LSU Tigers. The Athens Bulldogs' near brush with a state championship will be remembered for a long time in Southeast Ohio, but their legend will be remembered forever